Good afternoon, guys. This is Delilah Bliss. Just I've been getting into minimalism lately, and what I wanted to do was I wanted to go through some things in my flash drive and just get rid of them through these recordings, I guess. So, what I have here is just some documents that I had created a while ago, and I figured that I'm trying to do a zero waste lifestyle, so I'm trying to both minimalize things and just let go of things, save them in the form of either a picture or on video. So right now I have, as I said, different documents that I made in the past, and I figured that I would actually spend an hour going through these documents and reading them, so I can just delete them and save this video and put it in the vault. So let's get started. I think that'd be appropriate. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. I think it'd be appropriate to go in a random order. Looks like I have 8 different documents here. I'm gonna go through as many as I can. Let's see. Okay. Ready? Alright. So, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the first thing we have is a story called No Other Way. This, I don't know when I wrote this, maybe 4 years ago. Let's read it. I'm taking a walk, walking around the nocturnal streets of 19th century London. The grey fog traveled through the brick road ground I walk upon and the Elizabeth Tower showed me it was midnight. I didn't know or care to know where I was headed. I just needed to take a walk to clear my mind. I was feeling depressed. Why was I depressed? I asked myself. I don't know. It's not that there was no reason. It's that there is one, but it's difficult to just pull it out right away. It's like a mixture of bottling emotions and stress. Too much going on at once. I've heard that so many times during the past 6 years or so. The love for literature can be endless. So many ideas for art, literature, and poetry. There's so many ideas completed and so many ideas unfinished, and I never know when I will do them. Many ideas I have go as far back as over 5 years ago. I notice the stars shining bright as they remind me of every little idea I have thought of. This around the full moon. Lunar, she is wonderful and she shines her moonlight, which reminds me of a massive nightlight held by guardian angels, which guide me through the darkness. The cool wind rushing through slow and soft, then fast and loud, waving the pine trees and blowing my dark brown hair. I look to the sky and notice some big dark gray clouds slowly approaching the midnight blue sky. The sound of thunder rumbling through the air told me I had to make it back home. It wasn't far away, just about a street away. A little bit of rain sprinkled as I walked on through, and suddenly a lot of rain poured down. I didn't care that I was wet at all. I made it back home and went inside. My thoughts tell me to settle my ideas and step aside and go into a long break. They suggest I take time to meditate and go back where I have full energy. Though those thoughts have been in my head for years, I still ignore it. I don't ignore it because I feel like it is false guidance. I ignore it because I feel like I have an old soul and I feel like I'm obligated to get everything done within a short period of time. But I still have many years on me, as far as I believe, and a break won't destroy me. It might actually be the greatest advice I've ever given to me that I've never taken. I sit in my study, drinking some tea and enjoying the sound of thunder. My window is a little open, and I see stripes of purple and pink London, or lightning. A great pastime is how beautiful this is. All the love I have for Mother Nature could fill 1,000 books of the greatest letter I could write to her. As I read a poem, sitting at my brown wooden desk, I began to feel tired. I rest my head on my folded arms, resting on the desk, and fall asleep. I pick my head up and notice that my study was looking different. There's a white angel standing at the doorway with a light glow around its presence. She just stands there smiling with her yellow halo and massive white feather wings. And suddenly a little girl is dancing in a blue dress. She's got black hair. I don't know who she is, but she looked adorable. Perhaps she is my daughter and I have traveled in the future. Maybe she is a granddaughter of mine. I don't know. Her name is Delilah, from what I heard, and she seems full of energy. She sits on the floor and takes some crayons and paper and starts drawing a picture of a rainbow. Red like roses, orange like oranges, yellow like the sun, green like the trees, blue like waterfalls, and purple like plums. She adds pink, she adds brown, she gets up and leaves everything on the floor. The drawing is unfinished and she's dancing around without a care in the world. She's happy. She doesn't care that she didn't finish her art, but she's feeling grateful that she started it. Perhaps this is a message I could follow. If I can start a project, I do not have to finish it right away. It's always to go back another time. She's taking paintbrushes and neon paint. She's painting the walls. She's painting rainbows and stars and kaleidoscopes. And they're all coming to life. The kaleidoscopes are spinning and the rainbows are coming out of the wall. The walls are fading and grass is rising over the rug. Pine trees are rising out of the floor and clouds are coming through. Animals are running through and the room has become a forest. Still, the window shows and Delilah opens it up. The thunderstorm is raging on and now the rain pours through the room, creating a little pond, and the window now rushes through a waterfall. It's beautiful yet mysterious. The thunderstorm stops and now snow is falling. Snowflakes falling in this coming winter wonderland. The blizzard builds up and I'm sitting at my desk writing and writing. Suddenly I see the little girl freeze into a sculpture of ice. She is frozen with a smile on her face and sharp icicles around her ice shell. The snowstorm stops and the rain has stopped and the room was slowly turning back to normal. The angel has waved goodbye and faded away into her air and the little girl still stands there. Her frozen body starts to shake and she explodes into hundreds of butterflies all mixing into a color of white, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, brown, and black. The butterflies fly out of the room, through the window, and into the sky, and suddenly I wake from what I didn't know was a dream. I run to my window, and I see a beautiful rainbow and a bright blue sky with white puffy clouds, and a delightful sun shining its light over town. As I walked to the door ready to take a walk outside, I saw a picture on the ground, a childish drawing of a rainbow with a heart below it. I hanged it up on my wall, and I set my current writing away, not caring that they were unfinished. I smiled and walked out the door and said good morning with a smile on my face. The next one we're going to do. This is interesting. When I was living back in my mother's house in uptown Troy, we had her husband's mother was a Jehovah's Witness, and she had these people that would come over, and they would just go and read, go and talk to her about the Jehovah's Witness religion, and I personally didn't agree to it and didn't really care for it. But they gave me a kind of like a little booklet, and there was questions in there, and so that's where I came up with this thing that I titled "Questions Based on Jehovah's Witness." When I was introduced to a Jehovah's Witness who goes to my mother's house once a week to teach her mother-in-law about Jesus Christ, I had one of my uncomfortable conversations. I did not like talking about my religious beliefs to strangers, unless they're willing to be open-minded to my beliefs and not judge me. So when she told me that Jesus is the only way after I admitted to being a Buddhist, I felt a bit that my feelings were hurt and it bothered me for a short time. I was too nice to tell her that I disagree with her words, but I figured I wouldn't talk to her again. Let me get this straight. I am not against any religious group. I'm probably against hardcore religious folks who do it wrong, but as far as religion goes, I am not a man to judge anyone's beliefs. Well, getting back to the story, she handed me a few booklets, and such about her religion, and I obviously put them somewhere where I would forget about them because I didn't care about them. But one booklet had questions, and I felt that I should turn this scene into a happy one instead of an angry one. So I took these questions I found on a booklet she gave me and wanted to answer them my own belief, not hers/theirs. So without further ado, I'd like to get started on answering these questions. Some questions will not be answered to everyone's belief and may not have great detail, but in the end, there is no right or wrong answer. It is all my opinion, and I will try not to be judgmental in a harsh way that comes across as being so offensive. I only ask that the readers do not start judging my beliefs and preaching their religious rights to me, as I had stated that I respect everyone's beliefs. What is the good news? The good news, or any news that comes across as positive, is any moment that we do feel pure happiness in nearly its greatest form. I learned in a spiritual book about angels that the highest form of happiness is called bliss, and because they claim that we do not feel pure bliss until we cross over and go to the afterlife, that is why I will never use the term to describe any instant in my life. I also do not use the term enlightenment for the same reason. The good news in my belief is a feeling of happiness, or how long it lasts, and it's even greater news when you realize there is only now. Who is God? There is such a huge question in my mind. I'll start by saying that I do not try to relate religion and karma to God. I feel like karma is its own double sexual figure formed as a wheel that looks like a yin yang. She floats invisible in the sky. It rotates at its own rhythm. It could be the inspiration for change and reincarnation. It might sound weird that I do not relate God and karma, but I'll explain why. I believe God is all forgiving and mysterious. I believe God can forgive you for your mistakes if you are really willing to apologize and change, but I believe karma will still happen. my theory of God is probably different from others, but similar. I believe God is an orb of energy that is in the deepest, darkest part of space that is never known to the reality we are in now, but can be found through death and dreaming. I have visited God once in a dream when I was 15, and I ever since believed that was my God. I find that the sun is a part of God, and I believe all areas of Mother Nature on our earth is pieces from God. All the animals and living creatures too. But the strangest thing about my belief in God is that I believe God is both a light and a dark energy, one that makes us all part of one. I read an article about the truth of Satanism, and I'll never become one of that religion, and they claim that Satan is just a metaphor, something to help them live day by day. So I believe that my God is a light energy, Mother Nature, happiness, etc. And a dark energy, Satan, depression, etc. I have learned through Buddhism that I must accept balance, be open to this acceptance without holding on to resistance. Is the good news really from God? I believe that the good news and bad news is from God. Good news is a mysterious Andrew. God is a mysterious androgynous who can come across as a bipolar figure. I'm in love with God, and the good news is beautiful, but the bad news can inspire something beautiful. I am accepting the balance and becoming happy with whatever God brings. Who is Jesus Christ? This is one of those questions I could not fully answer fully. To me, Jesus Christ is a man who I'd like to one day meet due to what I heard about his personality. I respect him, but I do not wish to say much about him. What is God's purpose for Earth? God's purpose for the Earth is strange, actually. There is so much destruction and carnage happening to our planet, and it's depressing. Lacking. An old friend of mine told me a great belief, which made me believe it too. I believe the Earth will go through a massive apocalypse after some genocidal war, dictators, bombs, troopers, etc. All that stuff. All the electricity will be destroyed, and all the industrialism will be destroyed, and all the evil humans will be destroyed, and humanity will rebuild civilization as we are starting over. There will be no violence, there will be no killing for food, there will be no money. The world will be like a futuristic place, like Ratchet and Clank, but with more nature. The Earth will come back to mostly nature, and technology will exist, but not in the form of which we are secretly under control of. Killing may appear for food for people who live off the land, but the world will help each other. No poverty. The only remorse I see is that it will be a while from now, and many civilians will be dead. But it's better late than never to be in a world of peace. What hope is there for the dead? You cannot go into a funeral of a loved one and talk about how they are dead. I usually use the terms as describing the rest of ones as beautiful. Death is just a metaphor. The hope for the passing ones is that they will live forever in a place where time does not exist. If we do not believe in time, then we can live in it now. How disturbing would it be to die and be in an area where there is a clock and a calendar in sight? You think about how you would spend the next trillion years and wonder if you would run out of things to want to do in your heavenly realm. I do not understand time, it's a man made thing. The hope for the dead are still living is that they are in their personal afterlives and are doing wonderful, and we must pray for them as we pray for the living around us. What is God's kingdom? God's kingdom isn't this golden place on an unknown high cloud to me. It's a place of pure bliss. You ever see the Lovely Bones or some dreamscapes from the Beatles rock band? My afterlife is sort of like that. Nature and art and such with those around me who I love. I believe God's kingdom is a metaphor for a place of pure bliss and wonderment. Why does God allow evil and suffering? This one makes me think. It comes out to me into questioning. Excuse me. Okay. Why does God allow evil and suffering? This one makes me think. It comes out into question whenever I see animals in the slaughterhouse. I think our people around me do not understand the violence and oppression of this genocide that is bigger than the Holocaust. But I try to not worry about it. I think about how anyone can sit there and be comfortable with this, and how I am looked at as the bad guy. I just accept it, I guess. It makes me think a lot. But God has reasons, and I do not really believe that this is God causing this. I do not believe God would kill its own creation, especially animals. Animals produce a greater knowledge than we think they do. This question I cannot answer fully, and it still makes me think. But all I'll say is that I do not believe my God causes deep suffering. How can your family be happy? Any family will have different emotions at different times. If I am depressed, my sister can be happy. If I am happy, my brother can be angry. The only way a family can be happy is to live life in the moment of happiness and accept everything in balance and become grateful for all that comes forth to them. They focus on now and appreciate what they have. Any family can be happy through love. How can you recognize true worship? You do not need a church or a temple to be part of a religious group, and you certainly do not need to find God. It's something I am against and offended by. Pray, meditate, be grateful. If you pray in the morning and apologize for your mistakes while repeating them constantly, then you are worshiping God. I make mistakes and try to learn from them, but I don't read a religious book to go to a temple. True worship comes from deep inside, and this is true when you are ready to accept your God. But be reminded that prayer isn't something I do all the time for myself. I usually pray for thankfulness. In what I have and for people around me and everywhere. I pray rarely for myself. When I do, it's for clearing of deep suffocating anxiety and guidance for change. I hadn't prayed since last summer, 2015, for myself. How do Bible principles benefit us? I can't answer this. I'm not a Christian or Catholic follower. I don't believe a religious book is something that will guide me or make me change my life into bettering myself into my greatest version. Mistakes and learning from them help me to do that. I guess just go with what you believe, and if your favorite book is an inspiration to live a life of your greatest version, then Alice's Adventures in Wonderland will be my holy grail. How can you draw close to God? In my way of doing such, pray, accepting everything, meditate, love all, keep an open mind, live in the now, and do yoga. What is the good news about religion? Any religion, atheism, Christianity, Judaism, Satanism, spiritualism, Scientology, Buddhism, Jainism, Hinduism, futurism, etc., can bring good news if you follow them right. I am a man who makes mistakes and does not count on my religious beliefs to save me. I choose Buddhism to balance myself and become my greatest form. If you bring love from what you learn about your beliefs, then that is the good news about religion. Why does God have an organization? God doesn't have an organization. Religion does. God never said, in my belief, that people will have to build a church for it and read books about them. The blind can't read, the deaf can't hear, An organized religion is wrong the way I see it. Thank you. This is 39 random questions that I came up with a while back. I definitely got these off of a website, and they're supposed to be like deep questions. So let's get started, shall we? So I've had this idea of tea time for a while, and I've tried several times to start it. Sometimes it went good, other times it went bad. But I realized that I can't promise to create videos every single day like I wish I could. But I do believe I could post notes every day. Notes about my opinion and interest that could be shared with everyone and anyone. But the main reason I find to type a note better than making a live video is the fact that it'll help me further my energy to be able to finally write books. And I'm sure that reading this is more educational and easily remembered than watching a video. So I'd like to begin this the way I should have done nearly 3 years ago. Thanks for reading. The interview. The interview is one of many to come in which I answer deep questions with full detail to give the reader both my vision and mind of things and to help them explore an open mind. What is more difficult for you, looking into someone's eyes when you are telling someone how you feel, or looking into someone's eyes when they are telling you how they feel? It's such a difficult thing to experience, for me at least, because of this anxiety disorder. I think it's more difficult on me because I had bad experiences from relatives who would intimidate me with anger, and for a long time I was afraid to look at people. I would speak to others, but half the time I wouldn't even be looking at them. But if someone were to tell me something truthfully or whatnot, I would always look in their eyes. So I believe that it's certainly more difficult for me to look into someone's eyes when I'm telling them the truth. But in the end, it all depends on how serious the truth is. Think of the last time you were really angry. Why were you angry? Do you still feel the same way? I believe in certain guidances: astrology, Hinduism, Jesus Christ, spiritualism, Taoism, and Zen Buddhism. With that being said, I do connect deeply with my zodiac sign, Sagittarius. I have read articles on which is Sagittarius. I've experienced this. We'll hold things in for a while and then explode. I never exploded on anyone physically, but I have exploded before. I don't claim to remember what made me angry or how I got angry or what I did when I was angry at the recent moment, but I do recall I was experiencing mindful anger, and I am not proud of it, but I certainly do not remorse it. We feel emotions all the time, and we deserve to experience these emotions that God gave us. Without anger, we have no happiness. Without sadness, we have no happiness. So I do have things that make me angry, but to sit here and explain why they made me really angry the last time would just prove I cannot move forward from my past. I do not like being angry, but I'd rather let it out in one way or another, as long as I'm not hurting anyone. You were on a flight from Honolulu to Chicago nonstop. There's a fire in the back of the plane. You have to take time to make one phone call. Who do you call? What do you tell them? In any situation where I'm facing death and I have the honor of a phone call to one person on earth, there's no doubt in my mind that the one person I would call is my mother. She gave me life, and I want her to be with me when they give me death. I will never leave. I could visualize myself crying on the phone, telling her how much I love her, and everyone saying to her, "I'll be with you soon." Lord knows that when I die, I'll be a guardian angel for Elena. I go by a George Harrison story. Before his death, sitting on a hospital bed and sick and weak, George Harrison listened to Ringo Starr as he told him about a tour he was going on. George looked at his crying friend and said to him, "Do you want me to go with you? I don't believe in death, but I believe in change." You were at a doctor's office, and he has just informed you that you have approximately 1 month to live. Do you tell anyone / everyone you are going to die? What do you do with your remaining days? Would you be afraid? I'd live my life to the fullest. Just do things with others that I have dreamed of, but I know it'd be depressing deep down for everyone. Looking death in the face in front of a clock is like predicting when God will visit Earth. It's unknown. I'd rather live without knowing it at all. Death is nothing to fear for me, but the idea does give me anxiety. You can have one of the following two things. Which do you choose, and why? Love and trust. With love, I have trust. If I love someone or put in love in someone, I automatically put my trust in them completely, even if they don't trust me. You are walking down the street on your way to work. There's a dog drowning in the canal on the side of the street. Your boss has told you if you are late even one more time, you are fired. Do you take the time to save the dog's life? Why or why not? Good karma comes to those who give out their heart. Of course, I risk my job to save a dog. I'd rather save an animal than work in an area in which I feel sadness. I can always get another job, but I can never get another chance to save that dog's life. To me, saving a life is far more important than working a job, and I would never be afraid to tell any boss that. Would you rather be hurt by the one you trust the most or the one you love the most? The one I love the most because I already trust them completely. It would hurt, but pain is one of those many experiences of life, such as life. Your best friend confesses that he/she has feelings for you more than just friendship. He/she is falling in love with you. What do you do, or did you do/say? It depends on who it is. I respect anyone's opinion about me, and I can only give them honesty if I'm interested in them or not. It's difficult for me to find guys I like, but I do believe in finding love. Good love starts at a friendship level. Think of the last person you know that died. You have the chance to give them 1 hour of life back, but to give up 1 year of yours. Do you do it? Why or why not? No. They're always with me. I would never wish to have the godlike ability of resurrection. Death is not the end. A blackened space and sorrow. Death is as beautiful as life. I would wish to see that person again, but never bring them back. They will always be with me because I do not believe that death is the end. Those people who say all things come to an end are either atheists, have a fear of death, or just lost hope and change. Are you the kind of friend that would want to have as a friend? Yes, I do believe I have complications, but in the end, I have a strong heart. I can love anyone. I think I would be a good friend to an extent, but opinions of others are either different or at times individually identical. Does love equal sex? No, but sex isn't a negative thing. It's quite beautiful when it's between two people that love each other. I thought this was 25 or 39 questions, actually 25, because I added the Jehovah's Witness questions in this document. Your boss tells your coworker that they have to let them go because of work shortage, and they are your newest employee. You have been there for not much longer. Your coworker has a family to support and no other means of income. Do you go to your boss and offer to leave the company? Why or why not? If I could afford it, I'd have the family and my friend live with me, so I could help him find a new job and a new home. If it was vice versa, I'd hope he'd do the same for me. When was the last time you told someone honestly how you felt, regardless of how difficult it was for you to say? Who was it? What did you have to tell the person? I don't remember exactly. Maybe when I told someone that they at first prayed me because I thought they were going to have sexual interactions with me, and I spent a little while being paranoid. I think that was it. But I don't think I've experienced something so deep that I had to think deeply about it in tears. What would be, or what was, harder for you to tell a member of the opposite sex you love them or that you do not love them back? Somebody that I don't love them back is difficult, but I need to be honest. If I am not interested in someone, I will let them know, even if it's in the most darling way possible. What do you think would be the hardest thing for you to give up? Why would it be so hard to lose? My anxiety. To me, it's like a child. I would never wish to give her away. Excluding romantic love, when was the last time you told someone you loved them? Who were they to you? I told a friend who means a lot to me that I love her. We talked about my sexuality and suicidal thoughts, and promised to talk to her the next time I feel down and out. I have no time for long-term friends. I'd rather say I love you from the very start. If there was one moment and one time in the last month, what would you change and why? Nothing at all. Every experience, good or bad, is a teaching of a better future when you are optimistic. Imagine it is a dark night, you are alone, it is raining outside, you hear someone walking outside your window. Who do you wish was there with you? I wish it was a family member or friend. I love the nocturnal rain and I wouldn't be in fear if it was someone else. I'm happy, I've got nothing to worry about. I can be calm and angry at the same time. Would you give a homeless person CPR if they were dying? Why or why not? Yes, because the homeless deserve love too. This shouldn't be a question in my book. Lives matter, all lives matter. You are holding onto your grandmother's hand in the hand of a newborn that you do not know as they are hanging over a cliff. You have to let one go to save the other. Who do you let fall to their death? What was your rationale for making the decision? This is an awkward question that makes me wonder what went through the author's mind to write this question. This is very difficult. I wouldn't know. I guess my newborn baby because my grandmother has experience of life, but that I am living with a dark memory for the rest of my life, and his/hers. I am not happy to answer this at all. Are you old-fashioned? I'm an old soul. I'm 23, but I feel like I'm in my 30s or 40s. When was the last time you were nice to someone and did not expect anything in return for it? The people I work with, I do nice things all the time. I do not need anything in return. Anything I do get in return, I appreciate it deeply. Which would you choose? True love with a guarantee of a broken heart, or never loved at all? Why? True love with a broken heart. It's sad and I may take a long time to recover, but at least I had experienced love. If you could do anything or wish anything, what would it be? This may sound a bit negative at first, but I'll explain my answer on this. If I could have one wish in the world, one wish at all, it would be to have $1 trillion, but not to be made publicly announced. They say to be careful for what you wish for, and wishing for the root of all evil could be a massive summon of negative energy. But to me, it's not that at all. The reasons for wishing for that much money is for several reasons. I would wish to donate money, give to places on earth, those in poverty, animal rights, sick and orphan children, those who need love and random acts of kindness. I'd love to go up to my family who is on food stamps or whatever and say to them, excuse me, this may sound weird, but I am go up to a family, but I'm really into random acts acts of kindness, and today, out of the kindness of my heart, I would like to buy $500 worth of food and clothes for you guys because I love helping others and making them happy. I've inspired so many people lately, and I would love to be able to give out all the help I could give to others. I'd also help out my family. Here's a house for you, you know. Just give and give, and live off of what I have in a beautiful forest with a log cabin. Here's some random facts about me. In 2012, during October, I owned a ventriloquist doll from Japan named Kai that my homosexual friend bought for me. Although it influenced me and was very cute, I had to give it back because it was cursed. I like writing poems about things that have hurt me mentally and should move on from that because they make for very interesting stories and poems. When I'm going through my hypersensitive paranoia or manic depressive state, I hate being around others if I feel a negative vibe. I can forgive and make peace with anyone who hurts me, but I unintentionally take a mental grudge on that person for a long time, even though I make peace with them and pray for them. I do not know my own height. At one time I was like 5'11", and then the last time I went to the doctors I was 5'8". I do not know if that is from mild scoliosis or something else. I really want to form a noise experimental space indie psychedelic rock band with my friends Daniel, Dylan, and Zach. But it had to be in 4 different directions, and it has to be very open-minded. I can be a very superstitious person and fear on a spiritual level. There's only one musician who died here's only one musician he died who I do not like at all, as far as I can think of all of them, and I will not list his name. It's G.G. Allen, and it's not Kanye West. I can drink over a pot of coffee a day and 20-30 hand-sized cups of tea. I don't do it anymore, but I have in the past. I control myself, but I still have a clinical depressive mind state that sometimes thinks about wanting to commit suicide. I never do, nor will I ever do it. I like Peter Steele, rest in peace, and Till Lindemann, but I find them to be the most intimidating musicians in the whole world that I've seen. There was a man who was pretty messed up, and I don't want to mention his name, but I will say that there was a few things I liked about him and thought he was somewhat smart. I think that was my opinion about Adolf Hitler, so I'm going to say that was Hitler. I hate the sound of my singing voice. I still have feelings for like 4 girls who have come into my life, and I thought that there could be something there. I talked to one of them now, but yeah, one of them had no idea that I liked them. I never had a chance to tell her. I'm willing to explore conspiracies to an extent, at the risk of scarring myself traumatized for 2 days straight. I can picture myself talking in person to my ex-best friend in 20 years. I love doing this. I can go for a long time thing. I do it unintentionally with my androgynous bipolar-like syndrome, music and television interests, etc. I hate when I talk to a friend and things are happy, then out of nowhere they stop talking to me and just ignore me as if I did something wrong. Then I overthink about it, and then I feel like I'm paranoid or schizophrenic, and it happens when you do something fucking nice for someone and then you start worrying. I don't care what complications people have on that one, but it's fucking annoying. It's like when I was in school, and at times I'd go up to a friend, get their attention, and they would start ignoring me. Well, that's fine. That's the last time I do something nice for them. Screw them. A friend, and get their or screw them. Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot where that ended. I'm terrible at the whole job thing, and I'm starting to believe that has to do with something spiritually. I do not drink alcohol much at all anymore because of post-trauma and body weight insecurity. let's see what else we got here. Okay. Here's some even more facts about me. Okay, here's 20 more facts about me. This is actually pretty detailed. I love doing things like this, and I want to make this both positive and negative. I am accepting myself 100%. I'm an androgyny and try to balance it out. Androgyny is someone who has a mind of both a male and female. The best way to explain my androgyny is that my male mindset likes the grunge look, mountain man beards, flannels, Afghan blankets, ripped jeans, distorted vocals, distorted guitars. It's basically like drawing a picture of Kurt Cobain, John Lennon, Axl Rose, and Jimi Hendrix. My female mindset likes fairy tales, dress up, the glam look, dolls, cosmetology, rainbows, etc. It's like drawing a picture of David Bowie, Jeffree Star, Lady Gaga, and Marilyn Manson. I think I am a horrible friend. I love all my friends, and I have been taught to love all, forgive all, and be nice to everyone. I am grateful to even have friends, and I love when people claim I am very sweet. But the reason I think I'm a horrible friend is because, well, I broke 4 friendships with people who I at one time or another was best friends with. I unintentionally judge people who take the time to care about me, and I eventually drop friendships unless I've known that person for more than at least 3 years. Like I have 3 friends who I'll text and they'll text me, but it's not daily. To me, it feels like they want to talk whenever they feel like it, but when I want to talk, I'm ignored or I feel like I'm annoying. My mind tells me that they care and are busy. Okay, that's better. That they are busy. Um, and I believe it. Then this other part of my mind tells me that they're annoyed by me and don't care to hear from me. I think that thinking like that makes me a horrible friend. Like I'll sit there and think, oh, that's nice, not even a response. Oh wait, they gave me something, so do I? They do care. The way I am with friends is very bipolar, and it's not that I hate anyone. It's actually myself that I'm upset at. I went through years of being picked on and isolated in school. I had close friends, which was good. Some friends stabbed me in the back, and I grew into being a very lonely person while for a while and became very loyal to any close friend I had. I guess there is just a fear of losing another close friend. Believe me when I say this, if I were in the same room as that guy I'm close to or that girl I love to talk to or those 2 buds from Australia, then I would give them the biggest hug I could ever give them, and they would know right away how much I love them deep down inside my heart. I feel like my interest in art I feel like my interest in art is at 100% open mind. By the age of 13, close to 14, I was discovering a liking to Jeff Hardy and Marilyn Manson. Still, I judged things for a while and was confused, but they actually opened the door for me. But now I'm in love with the abnormal arts and feel like a carefree spirit. I have complications and such, but I don't ever judge art. I love all kinds of art. I love ideas, books, stories, poetry, music, etc. It took me a while to not judge music. I think I'm at my highest level of open-minded appreciation. I love psychedelic, grunge, noise, collage art, dark, happy, and such poetry, and my taste in music is out of this world. I know I'm not the only one. I love sound collages, avant-garde, electronic, rock, metal, classical, etc. I have a great love, respect for art, poetry, and music. I feel like I must be able to explore all open doors to art, music, poetry, as long as it doesn't involve anyone getting hurt or offended. I know it might sound hypocritical, but actually, some songs I listen to that talk about violence are actually me thinking metaphorically of my demons and trying to fight them off. I have seen artists who have talked about or perform violence and such, and I don't care for them, like strange people. It's pathetic and disgusting. My taste in art is psychedelic and grunge mixed together. I am an insecure person. I try to not let this get in the way of anything I share with others. I am insecure about my body figure and have been for years. I try to maintain a 140-pound weight range. I do not like being around anyone when I am singing because as much as I love singing, I am reminded of how terrible I am at it. Like people are music critics or something. I am confident about everything I create and do, but the insecurity level comes around when others here see me. I give myself credit for singing. I love singing. People I like singing to is Axl Rose, M. Shadows, Davey Havok, John Lennon, David Bowie, Rob Halford, Matthew Bellamy, Kurt Cobain. I actually gave myself credit when I hit a B5 note, 30-second vocal note, B1 note, etc. But when I found out that most people don't care, I just felt like singing was a waste of time. But I still sing because, like I said, I love it. I try to focus on the people who have complimented me on doing it. I actually have been told from a few people or so that I have sounded like my idol Matt Bellamy, and in 2012 people said I sounded like my, at the time, other idol Kurt Cobain. I mix minimalism and maximalism. I'm a minimalist in my items, but a maximalist in my art. I thought I had to do. I thought I had to own as well as nearly 100 items to be a minimalist, but a friend of mine told me that I do not need to own little. I can own however much I want as long as I'm comfortable with that. So I still set a limit, but have accepted what I own and what I want to own. I think it's probably at least 300 or 400 items in all that I own to my name. As an artist, I tried to once close the gates on my art, but I couldn't do it. My art has no limitations, and I have no desire to stop anything I create anytime soon. My mind is endless. I do not like to live with anyone. I have often spoken about how I wanted to live in a log cabin in the woods with a dog. It's not a lie. I do not have anything against anyone. I like to spend time alone, and I get claustrophobic at times, and my anxiety can go around like a roller coaster, and I feel like I am not in any mental condition to be living with anyone, unless it is any other person. Like I would never do anything crazy to anyone or myself. I'm not that kind of person, but I just get overwhelmed. That's a nice way to put it. I love to be around certain people, but not all the time. I like to be able to help, to be home alone, be isolated, and times when I want that, sing without anyone here. I don't want to say that anyone who has ever lived with me have made me upset. I've got my issues with people I live with, but I don't focus on it. I just am one of those people who prefers to live alone. I mean, if I could go live in a rainbow fairy tale tree house with a garden and endless tea, then I would, and that's exactly what I want. I see the love in everything, but I do not look like I show it. I have deep love for animals, nature, family members, friends, etc. As a man with a deep voice, I do not feel like I am comfortable with going, oh, how adorable. I love it, it's cute. Like girly things with interest. I can't explain it. I'd like to be that way. The furthest I can get is whenever I see an animal, I will smile and laugh at some point. I love to paint a rainbow and smile all the time and hug everyone and tell them they're beautiful. I'm a fan of conspiracy theories. It actually almost got my mind into trouble once. I enjoyed reading and watching videos on certain conspiracy theories. One video I came across scarred me for 2 days straight, and I was in a post-traumatic stage, but I overcame it through the help of a friend and motivational video. More recently, I had discovered 3 stories which had frightened me pretty bad, but not as much as the previous stories. The type of stuff I like involves things like music, art, sometimes certain secret projects, and war and stuff. But I don't focus much on that. I do like subliminal messaging too. I don't do it, but I like learning about it. I don't let it stop me from certain things. Like I know some stuff about the Beatles and 90s cartoons and such, but I just continue to watch and listen because if I let one thing ruin my interest in something I already like, then I wouldn't be a fan of much of any show or music artist. I've actually fooled around with audio and backmasking. Not for messaging, but for fun because I like it. Tomorrow Never Knows by Beatles is actually full backmasking. The solo in that song is actually parts of the guitar solo of Taxman put in reverse. Also, tape loops that sound like birds is really cool to me. as Paul McCartney laughing sped up. I have found 5 places where I feel like I belong. At the age of 15, when I started, I felt like I belonged in Valhalla. I was a metalhead and I had love for bands like Judas Priest, Van Halen, Megadeth, Metallica, etc. I felt like I wanted to live in a place like Brutal Legend, but with a more girlish sense. Like a dark mountain with guitar statues, but with a pink garden. By the age of 15 through 19, I felt like I wanted to live in 19th century London and England. I just grew into a love for things that made me think of England. I know some of these are not English, but influenced me to want to live there. Edgar Allan Poe, Alice in Wonderland, this British tea that I bought, Muse, Judas Priest, the Beatles, etc. And to this day, I love the whole English thing and wouldn't mind living there. I made 2 friends in my life who were from United Kingdom, and I think it's great. At one time or another, I've wanted to live in Tokyo or Koto, Japan. I just like the pink trees and flowers, and to me, it makes me feel happy. Like I bet I could live as a Buddhist there. Plus, Japan is one of those places that I feel has my feminine androgyny taste. It's neon and psychedelic and all over the place. More recently, I have felt like I would belong somewhere between India and China or the Himalayas and live as a Hindu Buddhist. After death, I have since at the age of 15 I told myself that I want to explore the underseas and outer space. I want to travel through planets, dimensions, dreams, etc. I live forever and want to explore further. I am jealous around people who are skinnier than me. For so they may seem, I secretly get jealous around anyone who is slimmer than I am. I know people who are about my size, but I want to be the skinniest guy in the room, and I want to not feel heavy around others. I'm not mad at anyone, I just like being the slimmest. I actually remember all the times I told my girlfriends that I think I'm fat because of my insecurity, and all the times they claimed they wanted to punch me. I have no idea of the limitations of my sexuality. I am attracted to men and women. I am bisexual, and in the words of David Bowie, it is perhaps the best thing that ever happened to me. I honestly don't know what I am. I have to actually make a video about that in the future. I don't really know where I stand, and I'll explain that in full detail. I wish I could balance it out. You go through a long time liking men and a long time liking women because of Katy Perry's extraterrestrial video. I've grown to liking the 2 extraterrestrials who look like human models. It's hard to find that in images because they all look unattractive to me. But the ones like Katy or David Bowie, I'm sure he dressed up like one or something like that before, or ones I have an attraction to. I can surprisingly be turned on by audio, like early electronic synth pop tunes for some odd reason. I'll love it all though. Those robots who look like humans are pretty attractive to me. I mean, I would never want to have relations with an alien or a robot, but I'm just saying that in some sense it makes me aroused. I feel like I set myself up to fail. It was a quote from my father, and he was right. I don't get mad at anyone for telling me the truth. I have high expectations. I need to write this book, and I need to make these poems. I need to draw this, and what I need to do is take a bloody break. So I have high expectations and never follow them with my own promises on those and push them aside for months or even years. I get done, but not what I planned on, and the things I plan are just ideas until I create them in a long time after I even plan to do them. I once drew an anime of Lindsay Sterling that I was going to give to her. In 2013, I had bought tickets to a Lindsay Sterling show and was confident that she would sign autographs after, since it normally happens there. So I drew a photo of her as an anime doll with a big head and small body. It was my thing at the time, and she had blue dress on playing violin with an adorable smile on her face, and she had blue and purple butterfly wings. I was going to give it to her or have her sign it, but I had no way to go to the show because no one would give me transportation. So I was very upset that day because she was one of my idols at the time, but at least I still have the drawing. Seriously, no one wanted to. The only one who would have bought, who would have but couldn't, was my brother. I was never mad at him though. He had a funeral to go to, and I did not blame him once. I told him that the funeral was far more important, but the others let me down. My brother promised to make it up to me. I told him only if he wanted to. Later that night, we went to his friend's house and smoked. Like I said, I was never mad at my brother. I was upset that I couldn't see the show, but I was upset that no one else. I wasn't I was upset that I couldn't see the show, but I was more upset that no one else wanted to take me. I've had 3 major addictions in my life. I claim to call these addictions because they were used during negative time in my life. I'm not calling all these things negative, but when you're addicted to them, it feels negative to me. I was an addictive alcohol user. I love to drink beer, vodka, rum, etc. because I love to get wasted. I used to smoke cigarettes and was a bit of a chain smoker. I smoked for 25 months and then quit and tried a bunch of times to quit. I was addicted to marijuana in 2012 and partly 2013. I quit in 2013, but I quit it to focus on being sober, getting a job, and because I felt like my phase was over. I didn't want to live that lifestyle forever. I wanted to experiment and move on. I drank for 3 years, smoked for 2 years, and smoked the other thing for probably 2 years or so. I'm sober now and I'm happy. I'll drink maybe once a year, but that's it. SpongeBob SquarePants and the Beatles helped me through a depression. During the end of a long depression in which I attempted to overdose, I spent the week trying to focus on being happy. I was very dizzy and spent the week trying to focus on being happy. I was very dizzy. The whole week was a dizzy week for me. I spent my time writing self-loving poems and watching Netflix and listening to music. I would watch videos on the Beatles, rock band. They called them dreamscapes, and I would love to watch Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds because it had space and kaleidoscope effects. Octopus's Garden because it had undersea effects, with a little help from my friends, Dear Prudence, etc. It was all happy to me, and I loved it. It opened the rainbow door for me, which was there, but I needed it to be more open. I would watch marathons of SpongeBob SquarePants on Netflix. I was inspired by the happiness in SpongeBob. I know it's a cartoon, but he had this mindset that is happy and girly and whatnot, and I loved it. The happiness they put in the character was very inspiring to me and motivate me to look for my own happiness. I still struggle, but it was a turning point in my life. I at times feel like Axl Rose. He's one of my favorite singers. I have had times where I felt very angry at people, like I wanted to tell them to fuck off and whatever, but I can control my anger. I at times feel like no one understands me, and I know that they don't and don't claim to understand anyone. Only our gods can understand us. I feel like I'm an annoying and a waste of space, and it makes me sad and angry. I've cried when I was alone. I used to yell and throw things, but my anger, like I said, has been controlled, and I do not go through outbursts and hadn't in years. I dropped a guitar last summer because someone said something that bothered me, but I dropped the anger quickly. That was really the last time I was very angry. I was angry at someone too during that point. My brother's drunk friend who tried to throw me in a pool and was trying to get away, and I was hyperventilating. And anyways, I picked him up and jumped in the pool with him, and it bothered me a lot. He was for a short time trying to drown me, but I got away. I never cared about him. I never cared about him. Anyone. I never cared. I don't know what that person is. It was very embarrassing to me. I actually remember flipping him off, getting dressed, and leaving the house and going for a walk to clear my mind. I do that. I take walks and pray for people and do not return to the house until I'm ready to be happy, forget about it. But yeah, that night really bothered me. Later on, whilst drinking gin, I accidentally dropped my new phone and it shattered. My mother wasn't happy, but I was too drunk to be upset. I just think that the whole night was negative. I rarely talk about this story. Okay, and I'll read this really quick. My 2 favorite colors describes my mindset a lot. I love neon, electric blue, and hot pink. It reminds me of astronomy, the ocean, darkness, and glam. The blue reminds me of my male mindset, and the pink reminds me of my female mindset. I've loved these colors since I was 14. I feel like they go together like bubblegum or cotton candy. I love them. Ironically, this girl I know who I'm close friends with has the same favorite color as I do. My cousin's 2 favorite colors are blue and pink, but she likes different shades than I do. Later. Okay, and that was Tea Time with your host, Delilah. Stay tuned. I will be making more videos that is coming straight from the vault. And my goal is that by 2020 we can start up new videos. Have a wonderful day. Peace and love. Namaste.